Uh, Everybody, tonight is the monthly meeting of the Permanent Building Committee and School Building Committee. It's August 15th. We have a abbreviated agenda tonight. The architect and had been given a charge to go ahead and put together a if we do nothing other than fix the school up so it doesn't fall apart charge at the last meeting. They did do that. They had some numbers they still wanted to get together. And in our working group meeting, we made the decision that it made sense to present those numbers at the same time as the um, more robust renovations. Because when everything's all said and done, with the MSB, with the we do nothing and do it all ourselves, and the MSBA participating, which would be the initial MSBA program that we had, the delta between those two may not be much. So we wanted to make sure that we all looked at this together and we understood that we could have something that could, you know, work for the town for the next 20, 30 years, and have the MSBA participate, or we could decide to not do that and do it on our own, on a smaller version over a longer period of time, and end up with the same school, just with basically, keeping it trudging along in the same path that it's going right now, which doesn't really meet the needs of the educational program. So, we're trying to go through all options to make sure that everybody understands exactly what we're getting into, and the advantages or disadvantages of each scenario. So, with that being said, the next item on our agenda would be some bills.
Rich, could I ask?
Yeah.
When do we expect to get this?
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, that was going to come up next. That would be on September 18th.
Okay.
We'll have a working meeting on the 9/11. So on 9/11, there'll be a working meeting, which all the SBC is invited to join, and anyone else that wants to get on that'll be at 4. And then on the 18th, we're going to go through, basically, we're going to revisit all of the proposals that we had looked at before with numbers, with better numbers. They're going to get those to Vertex. That's why we pushed it off. Vertex is going to get the numbers. They're going to go through. They're going to qualify everything for the renovations, which meet the educational goals, and make sure everything's copacetic on that. And then we'll present both the renovations and we do nothing and we just do it as a town, and which means also that we'll have to fund that ourselves, which means multiple votes at town meeting, which it makes it a little bit of a steeper hill to climb. So
just as a clarification, Rick, so we will have numbers where they're comparative. Here's what we can do on our own, and this is the cost. This is what, if the state participates, what the net cost is, less their participation. And hopefully we're going to see something that convinces us that the difference is relatively small and that we might be able to move forward.
That's what it'll do is we're showing everybody everything. There's nothing held back. We're gonna show you, hey, this is, we have multiple options. We have the option that has a lot of the things that the educators had asked for, which was our 4A option. That's reaching for the higher bar. And then we have each option as it drops down, where they have a little less, but it still helps to meet the educational goals of the town. And then we have the town just doesn't have the appetite to do that, and we're gonna have the same school, but we're gonna kind of band-aid it up and keep it so we can keep using it as is for the next number of years, and that's where you go. So I mean, we're gonna show everybody everything. Mark, I see you.
Rich, one quick question.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure this whole scenario was gonna require an extension from the state.
Yes.
Where do we stand with that, do you know?
Right now, the Vertex has gone to the state and told them that we wanted to slow the process down. So there was a timeline that Jeff gave out at the last meeting, which I just don't have in front of me. We're still on that timeline, okay? So right now, we have the option of doing the renovation projects as with the MSBA. We're still within that parameter. So we have not lost out on that. We haven't lost our chance.
Okay.
Question. Don't get me wrong. I mean, on the Clyde Brown School, we get a 47% return from the state on that. And due to the diligence of the building committee, we came in several $1 million under budget on the Clyde Brown School. Due to everybody's hard work, Vertex, the school building committee, the school. I mean, so the town of Millis is really looking out for we have a high fiduciary responsibility for the taxpayers. So we really want to make sure that we're doing the best we can for everybody.
What date did you give for the SBC meeting, please? Is it September?
Yep. So September, the working meeting would be on 9/11. That would be, and the SBC meeting would be on the 18th.
Okay.
That one would be at 7:30 because I'm going back to work and I'd like to eat dinner before I go to the meeting, so I'm not angry.
Rich,
Yes.
can you just ask Kim to send us an email with those dates?
Yeah.
So I don't have to go, I don't have to go find a piece of paper.
Yep. Fair enough.
I'd be happy to send that.
Thank you. There was a meeting scheduled for the 24th of August. Is that off?
That one is off. We'll cancel that one.
All right.
Hey, along those lines, Kim, is it possible that you could actually send a calendar invite? So all you gotta do is like click and it pops on your calendar. Do you know how to do that?
I don't, but I'm sure I could probably figure it out. I will look into it.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Does somebody else do that for you for the town right now that I could ask?
No, not at all. But all you gotta do is create the meeting on calendar and then invite everybody. And
Okay,
it'll come out that
Karen
way.
does it. Karen does it at the town. Karen
okay.
and
I can ask her. Yep, I'll do it.
And Mike from Vertex also could do that. I know they've set those up that way.
I think that works for those of us that have, some of us are using different emails, but I can certainly do it, and whoever it works for, so.
All right, Kim, if you could do me a favor and pull up the Vertex invoice.
Sure, yeah, let's see. So we have, let me share. Okay, so the first invoice is for Vertex, or the only invoice for school building committee is for Vertex in the amount of, and I'm not sure why I'm not able to scroll down. Hold on, I'm trying. You can see the amount, but you can't see the invoice.
Well, I don't care. Okay.
The
Okay.
amounts are the same.
Yeah.
The amount is $4,067.
All right. All right. So I make a motion that we approve the invoice for Vertex for the amount of $4,067 for work done in the month of, and I can't read it. Is it August? Or is it
July.
July. Yeah.
Second,
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. We can do it by voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Hey,
All right. Good. So that has passed.
So, and the other thing for school building are just minutes from 7/24, and I'll stop sharing this so we can do that off. July 24th was the last meeting, and those were the minutes I sent out with the meeting materials.
All right. I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of July 24th as written.
Second.
Second.
All right. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
aye.
Yeah.
And Mark, I saw you, I did talk to Denise during the working meeting. Did you have anything else that the school wanted to jump in on with us going forwards or, on the path that we decided.
No,
You're
the
good?
only question I had put out, and I don't know if you guys answered it yesterday because I couldn't join yesterday afternoon, but I just was on the draft information they had. It didn't reference whether they had put cost inflation into the things for the out years.
They
And-
did. They
Okay,
did have, they had cost inflation. They had done that. They also, but they had not include soft cost. So
Okay.
that's so they're in there. The numbers that were sent out were basically, nuts and bolts to
Yeah.
build it.
Yeah.
And cost increase over time, but it did not have the soft cost. So that's
Okay.
one of the that we went back to them and said, hey, we have to put numbers in there for that. And obviously on the longer term plan of do nothing, and it's a 10-year plan, we get to the point of it was we're only allowed to do a certain percentage of renovations because of the new building code.
right.
We worked fine within the first options. It's the last go round that they basically, to do the last portion of it, it was like $19 million.
Right.
For that, depending on where the costs come in at that point in time, the value of the building, because we're going to increase the value of the building as we do renovations to it. And we also have percentage. We just basically don't want to get into the building envelope of
Right.
having basically rescale the whole building, because that's going to be a significant cost to meet the new energy code. So that's the only tricky part at the end that we did also ask about.
Just do some Trump economics there, like he did. You inflate the value of your buildings, right?
We're doing a school thing now. We can't.
Rich, when we go over these things to give us the sort of, let's do it so that we don't have to use the new building codes or whatever it is, I'd like to understand, if you go that route, what are you giving up in terms of not so much the value of the building, but the quality of the work that you're going to do? I don't want to be in a situation where we're just doing everything just so we don't have to do code.
No, and I got it. So that makes sense. Basically the part of that we're concerned about is right now the building is set up where there's a wall base and there's bricks. So in heating and cooling, we don't have the best building envelope, right? To go ahead and make sure that we have a more robust insulation value, we'd have to go and skin the whole outside of the school, which gets to be tricky. But that is a really good question to ask, is could we do something like, they have stuff called, basically they put the foam and the stucco on the outside. It's called EFIS, external finishing system. Is that an option? Is that something we should be asking the question of, hey, if we put this in, is it going to save us, money over the long-term period of, heating the building, because we really cool
Right.
it.
Well, my concern is really based upon not the current Clyde Brown, but the last one. Because when we did our renovation and expansion of the old Clyde Brown, we did it and it lasted for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I don't think we want to be doing that with this project.
No, and that's part of the thing of the do nothing project really does, it's not going to be as a robust upgrade. But even if we don't, I think that is a good question. I'll shoot something off to Chris and Vertex and say, hey, if we did entertain, upgrading the insulation on the outside of the building, what would that entail? I mean, they should be able to throw a number at that. So,
Thank you.
all right. No, thanks for the question. Appreciate it. Okay, so I think that was it for the school. At this point, we did have also in the permanent building committee, The state did not fund anything for the renovations for the 64 Exchange Street, the Lansing Millis Memorial Building, which used to be the old town hall. So basically,
So
we're back.
we ended up with 0? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we got 0. So
Oh,
that
great.
was that's where we and I saw Ellen was on. Ellen did bring up in the select board meeting the possibility of the town raising the funds. Ellen, you there?
I'm here, so I didn't know we were gonna talk about this. I was just gonna sign off, but
Good thing.
but I'm glad we can talk about this. I met some subs. First of all, I went out there today. Everybody that is in town, first of all, why are we talking about, can I just ask, this is the school building.
It was a joint agenda tonight.
Oh, a joint. I didn't,
And
unlike
technically,
you, Mr. McCaffrey, I have a piece of paper, but apparently I didn't read it.
Yeah.
All right,
1 out of 2, that's not bad.
that's not too bad, right? I
Yeah,
went,
We try and, when there's not a lot on one or the other, we try and
Okay,
combine
good.
them.
Diane, I was actually gonna ask to talk to you after this meeting or tomorrow, whatever. So anyway, I went out to the train station today. I met 3 subcontractors. I met the roofer, who's the roofer for the town aqua barriers.
well,
I
and
met my
let's
framer,
hold on, we're gonna
and I met a mason.
hold on, Ellen. We need to back up a bit, okay?
Okay,
We had met Aquabears. We had gone out there. We have a quote from them for the town.
yeah, well,
we
that's a year old.
had met, right? We had met a mason out there also.
Yeah,
Fortunately, you're thinking about this as Rosenfeld Realty
no,
going
I'm
in.
not. No,
Well-
no. Let me finish, Rich,
Well,
let me finish.
To run this the proper way through I can't go ahead because that's the problem will happen is I understand and you understand if we didn't go through the public building process, we'd have this done and we could have done it a lot quicker.
I know,
and-
Rich, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. I know everybody wants to jump here, jump the gun. No. We need to know what we're looking at in order to button up this building, right? We need to know. I have no idea what we're looking at. I'm having them quote prevailing wage, but I have no idea what we're looking at. I'm thinking in the $200,000 to $300,000 range to put a new roof on, new siding, which includes the soffit, and some pointing. Okay? So I just want to get an idea of what this expense is, because if you look at that study that you had done to do it historically, what was it, $2.5 million, something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was.
which
I'm
we
thinking what?
never would have done it that way. They did the study to go ahead and identify if we did want to go ahead and use that as do a we took that and knew that we'd extract real information out of that of what the town of Millis can afford and do. The $2.5 million, unless somebody won the jackpot and donated it to the Lansing Millis, isn't going to happen that way. It just,
Okay. Okay, well, all right, I get that. But I think what a lot of people, or maybe you do know this, but that building has already been, I'm going to use this word because I can't think of a better one. It's already been bastardized, right? That building has an asphalt shingle roof on it. That's not historical. It's got windows that have nothing to do with history. It's been repointed 6 times. You can see 8 different colors of concrete. So, and some of the doors have been filled in with a window and plywood. It's been paint. I mean, everything about it. So if we just want to, again, tighten it up and have it last another however many years, I'm thinking a new roof, which is new shingles. I'm thinking new siding. and some more pointing, repointing. Other than that, I have to tell you, you need to go down there. Everybody on here, I mean, everybody's seen it. Diane, you've seen it 100 times. But if you look at that building, it is the most beautiful building in Millis. You don't have to be an architect to see that. It needs to be looked at. Now, I know, Rich, we're all concerned about going through the process and making sure that we follow whatever rules we need to follow, which means town meeting, appropriation of funds. But then it hit me today when I was in my office, when I thought about this. I was going to talk to Diane about it. If these bids, which is prevailing wage, if they come in at 200 or 300 grand, I'm thinking, and this is probably not and this isn't really me at all, but I'm thinking maybe we could do a fundraiser and try to raise this money. I think of all the things to ask the townspeople for, I think this would be it. Now, I want to talk to town council, and I'm talking about, I would talk to a few more high rollers in town, maybe do a matching thing. I want to talk to town council and find out if we do that and not use town money. My first question is, do you need to go prevailing wage? My second question is, do you need to go to town meeting? I don't think so. I think we could just put this thing together. I'm just throwing this out there. Diane, I'm looking at you mostly because I know you're.
My gut would tell me you probably would want to set up a private organization
Yep,
and do all that and have them manage it. You
okay,
wouldn't want, I'm guessing here, but I'm thinking the minute you roll it into the town officially managing the project, you're into all that. So what you'd want is you'd want somebody to set up a 501c3 or some
okay,
fundraising thing that you find some, not town official sitting on a board, any planning board, like find a couple in purely private citizens to have their names on the paperwork. And then that organization does it as some kind of donation in kind or donation to the town to get the work done. And then you probably are a lot more free from bureaucracy.
Right. And that's a whole different ball of wax, Ellen. I mean, I would
know.
say approach town council, and if you think that you could get that together and it'll work, as long as the building gets fixed, it doesn't matter how it happens. So
I know. Diane, what do you think about that? You were the one I really wanted to ask.
Well, we talked about it a few years ago and we're kind of interested, but the legal people kept saying, no, 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 no. But I want to tell you that when administration and finance came and said, oh, your bond money is gone, the bond bill that was going to fund, they said, there's a group starting in January, you can apply for a grant. I don't remember, I have to look it up, but I was hoping to talk to Mike Kaczynski and Bob Weiss about getting moving on putting a grant request in for both buildings. And if we can get the money next year, I don't think even if we move really, really fast, I don't think we're going to get it buttoned up this winter.
I don't agree with you, and I don't want to wait for the money.
The other issue that came up the other night, someone mentioned, is the historical commission, right?
Yep,
We pay money into that fund for things just like this.
yep.
And I don't know how much they have. I heard it was like $1 million they were sitting on, give or take. I don't know what the latest number is, but this is exactly what that should be there for, right?
We've had them over, Jim. Nate and the whole group came over a couple of times. They want to match. They want to,
They'll give you half.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that's fine.
Community preservation money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine.
CPC money. But you're
mean,
talking,
Ellen,
historical.
Ellen, hold on a second.
Yeah.
There's nothing you said that we haven't considered before.
All right, well,
Except-
what did Diane, what did you mean when the legal people said, no, no, no? I don't get that.
Well,
What legal people?
we can't do it under the auspices of the town because that means prevailing wage and everything else. So
I'm not
can't-
afraid of prevailing wage. I don't know why everybody is so afraid of prevailing
it's a lot of
wage.
money. It's a lot of money.
We don't know that yet.
Yeah,
We
but
Can
don't
we,
know.
can we approach Tri-County as a project for them?
Well, that was another option. We should think about that.
No, no, we shouldn't. All right, we gotta
No?
continue this off
All
camera.
right, we can talk tomorrow, maybe, Ellen.
I'm not going to students to start banging siding.
They
I'm
did,
gonna
they
get-
did a beautiful job on the two.
I know
ships
they
at
do.
The library.
I know they do. This is.
let's hold on for a second, okay?
Oh,
From my point of view, as a member of this permanent building committee, I have certainly no issue with some folks getting together and come up with a proposal. Everything's gonna be on open, everything's gonna be in public, everybody's gonna know everything that's going on.
yeah, of course.
So I don't want to leave anybody, yeah, but I don't want to leave anybody with the impression that somehow this is going to be happening behind closed doors in a way that doesn't benefit the town. And I'm not accusing
I don't know
anybody
why-
of anything.
Okay,
I'm telling you what I'm hearing and what I think we should make clear to the public. This is a public building. We're doing our darndest to make sure that this building is not fixed. It's just preserved. Because what we're talking about here is to make sure it
Right.
doesn't fall down. That doesn't mean it's going to be used for anything. It's just going to continue to sit there without deteriorating until we figure out something to do with it.
well, that's another sort of a missed thing that's going around here, like that the building is falling down. The building's not going anywhere. The
No,
building
it's-
is structurally sound. I had a structural engineer, I have a stamp on a letter. It's just, it's not even, but it is what you say, Jim. We're not restoring it to its historical accuracy.
No,
Just using it, not restoring it to historical accuracy, actually using it for something. That's what
Well,
we're trying
once
to do,
we-
right?
But
Is the
once,
building usable as is?
no.
I'm sorry?
Building is not usable as is.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It needs a new roof, it needs siding, and it needs gutters, a new roof siding, a little bit of pointing. The big thing is there's a big soffit that goes around it, as you all know, 3 sides. That soffit's part of the siding, that needs to be done. But the interior is not terrible. A coat of paint and some cracks, I mean, it's not terrible. The heating system still works, believe it or not. It
It
has
does.
no AC, so it would need a couple of splits and a unit outside. It's not the millions of dollars that we think, even at prevailing wage. That's why I said I wanted to get a real picture at prevailing wage with respectable contractors of what we're talking about. If it comes in at $1 million, it's a whole different conversation.
Right.
But if
Right.
it comes in at 200 or 300 grand,
Back-
I think we can talk.
Can we back up a bit? We did send in to the state Aqua Barriers quote for the roof and the soffit repair, okay? We also sent in a quote for some pointing that went in with that also. To the state, I can't remember the number. Diane, you put that together for us. Do you remember what the number was roughly off your head?
For the concrete or the
No.
plumbing, total?
When
No,
you say the state, what do you mean, Rich?
When we
Okay.
went for the, we applied for the grant that they didn't give us. The earmark went somewhere else.
Oh.
We put in work to get that money. The state didn't give it to us. They went to another pet project for a different,
Ashland, somewhere in Ashland.
yeah,
probably. And so we have already done that work. We've submitted that to the state.
Okay, I don't know what numbers you gave them.
I will let you know tomorrow. I'll send you what I sent them, okay?
But how many years ago was that?
That's
Do
the
you know?
email I already sent around, had all the numbers in it, I think.
Yeah, I know. It
Do you know-
was, it was this February.
Yeah, it's
It was 3
recent.
months ago, February?
Yes, we had already sent them the proposal for the historic restoration, blah, blah, blah. And they kept saying, well, we want more information. So I put some stuff together. And we Mike sent it in. And they said, okay, that looks good. We'll look at it. And then it took them months. They said, oh yeah, we'll let you know in February. Well, we just found out last month. There's no
Did
money.
you have a siding quote? I don't remember seeing one, but okay.
I,
Sent that to you for the select board meeting on Monday. Before that went in,
But
we
I
sent
don't-
I have no siding quote. The only thing I saw was
There's a
some,
roof, yeah.
roof and
I
pointing in
saw
that-
a roof, I saw an electrical quote. That's all I saw. I didn't see anything for the building envelope. I don't know.
well, there
Okay.
was a, let me put it nicely. There was a half-baked Mason's single page that didn't have enough information on it. That was the quote we had.
Okay, but
In
the-
order to try to get the grant, that was the point. We
Right.
needed to get
Okay.
something to get the grant. Now
Correct.
we don't worry
I
about
don't
that. because
understand
get it.
how you, I'm missing something here. You're telling me you did this in February, but I have heard that this money's coming since before I got elected. That's 2.5 years ago.
Well, yes, we sent them some preliminary stuff and then they wanted estimates. So we went scratching around. You finally gave us the guy for the roof.
But that was
couldn't get-
over a year ago.
We couldn't get anybody to talk to us and give
I
us
know.
estimates.
I know.
It's tough. Nobody
That,
wants to
that
do a
type
little
of grant,
job.
Ellen, we had to apply for. That was one of those grants that they
Okay.
earmarked the money, but you had to apply for it and
Right.
submit
And I
the
think that you,
background.
and I
right?
think that you got it, but then they took it away.
Correct.
we never got it. We never got anything. It was a bait and switch. They said, hey, we're gonna set money aside.
Okay,
They said, no, we're not gonna do it. It went to, like Jim said, it went to a different town.
okay.
li- we don't have the pole of Dover or some other town, so
Okay.
we're totem pole.
All right, these quotes are gonna come in within a week. I'm gonna share them with anybody who wants them, Rich, number one. And then we'll see where we are.
I think the other thing is make sure that to the town of Millis, because that's the biggest
Yep,
thing.
they are. They'll be made out to the town of Millis.
All right. No, I mean,
Yep.
like I said, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. If we get to the end and we succeed, who cares how we get there? As long as
The other thing though, that I'm a little upset about is, I don't know if any of you have been down there lately, but you can barely get to the building with all the grass and weeds and trees and shrubbery that has built up there. So, I've tasked somebody to speak with Mr. McKay. My understanding is yeah, and you're not gonna believe this, but apparently the school and the town are arguing over who is responsible to maintain it. So nobody's maintaining it.
I guess that's the role of the selectmen to set that policy, select
Yeah.
board, pardon me,
I just found that out today.
not the permanent building committee.
How about if I make a call, Ellen?
You can do whatever you can. All I know is, since we merged this maintenance-y thing,
I know.
that building was left off the list.
It
You
wouldn't
can't
kill
make this
John, it
up.
wouldn't kill John Engler to go over there and spend 2 hours whacking weeds and cutting a little bit of grass. One thing at a time.
I don't know what to tell you. I
Okay.
tasked Mike to speak with them, so I'll let
Okay.
you know, and whatever you can do, because it's a disgrace. And I
Yeah.
know why people are sleeping there, because it's very protected and very hidden. You could camp out in that back, in a doorway where there are towels where people are sleeping.
Oh,
So that's
gee.
what I got. Aren't you glad you
Okay.
asked?
No,
Yeah.
it's good. You know what? Yeah, all information is good information. So
I agree with you 100%. Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you, Ellen.
So we have the one invoice. I don't want to forget about that.
Which-
I don't want to cut anybody off, but if
Go ahead.
we're wrapping up, we have our last invoice for the DPW project, which is very exciting. So let me,
Yeah.
The generator?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
let me get that shared and hopefully I can move around. Yep, so it's, I sent this out, so you should have it, but, Gemini Electric,
Yep.
in the amount of $19,717.
All right, I make a motion that we approve the final invoice for the DPW building for the generator for the amount of $19,717.
Second,
All
Okay.
right, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
aye.
All right. Passed unanimously, great. All right, well, and that's exciting that we managed to get that. Takes it takes that one off the books, so. And Kim, is there anything we need to do to close that thing out? Do we have to, do you know on that?
I'll talk to Lisa. I'll tell her it's the last invoice. I have like a half an hour worth of time to build the project. That's it. And then, yeah, I'll figure out what we need to do.
Kim, suggestion, send Jim McKay, an email and say, is this the end? Would you confirm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
we-
did confirm when he sent it. He said this is the last invoice, so
Okay.
I'm gonna hold him to that.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll use that. I'll forward it to Lisa and Carol and see what we need to do.
Okay.
All right, well, with that being said, I think we, unless anyone has, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right, motion's been made, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Inland speed record.
All right, I will
Bye,
send an
everybody.
email about the next meeting.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good
Night now.
night.
Bye.
Good night.